There was once a wicked king of Israel named Saul. God spoke with a holy man named Samuel and told him that one of the 7 sons of Jesse of Bethlehem was to be the next king. Samuel was to go to Jesse and choose the son who was most worthy. Samuel went to Bethlehem and told Jesse what the Lord had said. Overjoyed, the father made 6 of his 7 sons stand before their visitor. Yet, as each one stood before him, Samuel knew in his heart that none of them would be king. The last son to come before him was the youngest, David. He had been away tending his father's sheep. He was a fine and handsome boy. When Samuel saw him, he knew that David was to be king. Samuel gave the lad his blessing, and then he left Jesse's house. David went back to his flock, sat down, and began to play his harp. He played beautifully, so beautifully that a servant of King Saul heard about it. The servant went to his master and told him of the young man. Saul ordered Jesse to send David to his palace. Now King Saul was an evil man, and everyone feared his fits of anger. Yet when he heard David play, he grew angry no more. The king asked David to live at the palace, and the lad was happy to stay and play for the king. It came to pass that the Philistines made war upon the Hebrews. Saul gathered his army on one hill, and their opponents gathered on another. 3 of David's brothers went to fight the enemy, and David's father told him to take some food to them. When David arrived at King Saul's camp, he saw a giant of a man leading the Philistines. He was 9 feet tall, dressed in bronze, and bearing a sword and a spear. The giant shouted to the Hebrews, challenging any man to meet him in battle. If the giant lost, he promised the Philistines would leave. But if they won, then the Hebrews must surrender. "Who is the giant?" David asked his brothers. "He is Goliath," they replied, "and he is the Philistines' champion. No man dares face him." David was not afraid of Goliath. He gathered 5 round stones from a stream. Then he stood between the 2 armies and challenged him. Goliath strode out to meet David, sure that he could kill the boy. The lad put a stone in his sling and swung it about his head. Goliath charged. David flung the stone at the giant. It flew through the air and struck him squarely on the forehead. The giant crashed to the ground, dead. Seeing the mighty Goliath fallen, his followers fled. David had won the battle for his people. King Saul was very pleased with the boy and made him a leader in his army. One day, David was crowned King of Israel, but that is another story.